Do you believe in miracles? That's the question that kept running through my mind as I watched one of the most captivating Champions League matches I've seen in recent memory. Bayern Munich versus Celtic, a David and Goliath story that nearly gave us one of the greatest European nights in Celtic's history. Let me paint you a picture of what we witnessed at the Allianz Arena. Coming into this second leg, Bayern held a slender 2-1 advantage from their victory in Scotland. But let me tell you, that scoreline in the first leg flattered them. Celtic had been the better side in patches of that game, and there was this electricity in the air, this feeling that something special could happen in Munich. The opening 20 minutes? Oh my days. The opening 20 minutes were absolutely breathtaking. Celtic came out like a team possessed, creating not one, not two, but 4 golden opportunities that had the Bayern defense scrambling. The Scottish champions were playing with this fearless energy that you rarely see from visiting teams at the Allianz Arena. They were pressing high, moving the ball with purpose, and causing absolute chaos in the Bayern backline. And let me tell you about Jota. This guy was putting on an absolute masterclass down the wing. Poor Stanisic looked like he was stuck in a revolving door, getting twisted and turned inside out. Jota was at the heart of everything good Celtic were doing in that opening flurry. Every time he got the ball, you could feel the tension in the stadium rise. The only thing missing? That final touch. That moment of composure in front of goal that separates the good nights from the legendary ones. You know that feeling when you're watching an underdog throwing everything at the favorite and they can't quite capitalize? That pit in your stomach, knowing that these chances might come back to haunt them? That's exactly what was going through my mind. Because Bayern Munich, they're not just any team. They're a team that punishes you for those missed opportunities. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Celtic didn't just attack and hope for the best. Their defensive organization was absolutely immaculate. We're talking about a team that came to Munich and decided they weren't just going to park the bus. No, they were going to show that Scottish football can go toe-to-toe with the very best. The way they stayed compact, the way they closed down spaces, it was like watching a masterclass in defensive positioning. And let's talk about the shift in dynamic here, because this is fascinating. Bayern Munich, the mighty Bayern Munich, were reduced to playing on the counterattack in their own backyard. When was the last time you saw that? The precision of Celtic's passing game was causing all sorts of problems. Every time they won the ball back, they weren't just hoofing it clear. They were playing through the press with real quality. The plan was clear. Win the ball, break the press, find Maida in space. Simple in theory, but the execution was beautiful to watch. The only thing missing was that clinical edge in front of goal. You could feel the frustration building among the Celtic faithful. These were the kind of chances you have to take if you want to pull off a miracle. Harry Kane nearly made them pay right on the stroke of halftime. One moment of defensive doziness, and he crashed a shot against the crossbar. It was a warning shot, a reminder that for all Celtic's good work, one moment of quality from Bayern could undo everything. Going into the break at 0-0, I couldn't help but be impressed by Celtic. This wasn't a smash-and-grab performance. This wasn't a team hanging on for dear life. This was a team going punch for punch with one of Europe's heavyweights. The fact that I'd barely mentioned Bayern up to this point tells you everything you need to know about how the game was going. But you know how these stories often play out, right? The underdog gets their chances, can't take them, and eventually the favorite makes them pay. As the second half kicked off, that narrative was hanging heavy in the air. Celtic came out swinging again, Jota with more magical footwork, another chance gone begging. Then, Schmeichel had to pull off what I can only describe as an act of goalkeeping heroism. The way he came charging out to smother a Bayern attack. If he's a split second slower, we're talking about a different game entirely. What I thought was a massive turning point was Vincent Kompany's decision to withdraw Kane, who'd taken a knock to the face, and bring on Kingsley Coman at the start of the second half. Suddenly, Bayern's attack had this new dimension. There was movement, there was purpose. There were patterns of play that hadn't been there before. But still, somehow, the score remained 0-0. The tension was building, the drama was mounting, And then it happened. The moment that made me leap out of my seat, screaming like a man possessed. Celtic scored. Celtic scored in the Allianz Arena. The buildup wasn't pretty. In fact, when Maida played that pass, I thought he'd wasted the chance. But sometimes football gives you these moments of beautiful chaos. Kim Min-jae couldn't clear properly. The ball fell to Kuhn, and suddenly he's one-on-one with Neuer. This time, there were no finishing woes. This time, the ball hit the back of the net, and the away section erupted in pure, unbridled joy. 2-2 on aggregate. The miracle was on. Celtic hadn't just come to Munich to make up the numbers. They'd come to make history. But football, beautiful, cruel football, had one more twist in the tale. As Bayern poured forward in search of a winner, Celtic were defending like their lives depended on it. Schmeichel was pulling off save after save, each one more impressive than the last. There was this one save from a deflected free kick after shot that defied belief. The reactions, the awareness, the agility to push it away. Absolutely world class. The minutes were ticking down. The Celtic fans were singing their hearts out. Their team was so close, so agonizingly close to pulling off one of the greatest results in their European history. But football can be heartbreaking. And in the dying seconds, with practically the last kick of the game, Alphonso Davies bundled the ball over the line. The Allianz Arena erupted and Celtic hearts were broken. Carter Vickers was inches away from clearing it. Inches! But sometimes in football, inches are miles. The cruelty of it all, to come so close, to play so well, to believe so strongly, and to have it snatched away at the very death. You know what makes it even more poetic? On a night of giant killings across Europe, with Feyenoord shocking AC Milan and Club Brugge stunning Atalanta, Celtic came within seconds of completing the hat trick. They came within seconds of writing their own chapter in Champions League folklore. For Bayern Munich, this was a wake-up call. They were poor by their standards, disjointed in attack, vulnerable in defense, and ultimately lucky to progress. They literally had to scramble the ball over the line in the last seconds to avoid what would have been one of the biggest upsets in recent Champions League history. But let's talk about the real heroes of the night. Kasper Schmeichel, who turned back the clock with a performance that reminded everyone why he was once considered among the Premier League's finest. Jota, who for 60 magical minutes had the Bayern defense dancing to his tune. Maida, who never stopped running, never stopped believing. Hatate, who covered every blade of grass on that pristine Allianz Arena pitch. The whole backline, basically the whole team. Celtic might be out of the Champions League, but they've shown that Scottish football can compete at the highest level. They've shown that with belief, organization, and courage, anything is possible. Yes, their finishing let them down. Yes, they'll look back at those early chances with regret. But they've done their club, their fans, and their country proud. This wasn't a smash-and-grab attempt that fell short. This wasn't a team parking the bus and hoping for the best. This was a team that went to one of Europe's football cathedrals and played their game, their way. They matched Bayern Munich pass for pass, tackle for tackle, and were seconds away from pulling off the unthinkable. In the end, Bayern move on in the competition, but they'll know they've been in a fight. They'll know they've escaped. And yes, escaped is the right word, from what could have been one of the most embarrassing nights in their recent history. For Celtic, the journey ends here. But what a way to go out. What a performance to build on. What a statement to make to European football. Sometimes in defeat, you earn more respect than in victory, and tonight was one of those nights. This has been Across the Pitch. And I need to relax because my heart was way into this game too much. Rooting for underdogs is so fun, and my word, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you, Celtic, you played a game. Okay. Over and out.